Hey, it's Tuesday again, and the older I get, the faster Tuesdays come every week. It's like, what? It's Tuesday already again. This week, I'm combining my Tuesday tips along with my monthly Think Different webinar because I'm trying to be more efficient in my life, and it's really beautiful out. We finally have some spring, some tulips are starting to pop up, and I'm excited about having some sunshine out there. So as soon as I'm done with this little recording, I'm going to go out there and take a walk. Today's Tuesday Tips is all about implementation. School Moves is about having interventions in your toolbox. We talk about toolboxes a lot. It's about having strategies, specifically targeted strategies, that when you see something going on in a classroom or in individual students, you say, oh, it looks like that student might need X, Y, or Z. So as these excited therapists think about implementing School Moves, the very first thing I'm going to ask them to do, sit down with the principal, because good information is way easier to move forward from than if a principal or superintendent or somebody walks into a classroom and, for instance, sees somebody doing something that looks like, well, that's not part of our curricula. It could be a problem. Or if a teacher's taking an aside, it looks like they're breaking away from their 90 minutes of reading instruction. That can be a problem for the teacher. So you want to, before you go anywhere with trialing anything, you have to sit down. Even if it's 15 minutes, you have to sit down with the principal in the school building and say, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what we're going to do. If you want any more information about being evidence-based, you direct them to our New to School Moves page. It has all kinds of good information on it. Once you get the blessing of the principal, then the teachers feel more safe to implement. If you come in and go directly to a teacher, there's a good chance that that teacher will say, I am under so much stress to get so much covered in one day, I can't do another thing. And there's a good chance you're going to be strong-armed. But if you work with the principal and you ask the principal, you know what, I'd like to trial this. We'd like to trial this in 2 classes. What do you think would be the best way to do that? Now you've started the collaboration process. Now you've got the principal thinking, oh, you know what? I have 2 classrooms that I think really could benefit from this, or I have 2 teachers that I think would really benefit from this. And it sounds like these gals already know which classrooms they want to trial. They found their eager 20%. As I talk about workshops, there's always that eager 20% that really want to do new things and try new things, and they're open. So that's all good and well that they found their eager 20%. However, without your eager 20% principal on board, you could have roadblocks down the road. So I want to make sure you don't have that. So that's number 1. You need to go have a sit down and explain what you want to do and why you want to do it. Number 2 is that you need to understand what is the problem, the challenge that is School Moves thing. Like, what is the challenge that School Moves can help fix or remediate or support the teachers in. So if there's no challenges in a classroom, the classroom's humming along, they have, good test scores, the students are doing well, the teachers are happy, the students are happy, why are you going to add anything more if everybody seems to be doing okay? So you need to have a reason to trial this in a classroom. So number 3 is you have to say, where does this fit in our tiered intervention process? Because we're doing intervention here. So we're not adding another thing. You're going to be saying, okay, it's tiered intervention. And if you're not familiar with that, every place has it pretty much. It's tier 1 is you're working with, is this a whole school intervention or a whole classroom intervention? Or tier 2, are we targeting small groups of students that seem to be having some challenges? Or is it tier 3? I have one student that's really a challenge for our whole school. Can we target that student? What is the population that you're targeting, and what tiered intervention are you targeting? So before these therapists go into the schools, I want to know that answer. Are you tier 1? Is this a whole classroom? A whole classroom that's challenged with something that the teacher's saying, oh man, you need to come in. I got a whole classroom of these students. Or is it tier 2? I've got a small group of students that, they're just a little bit out of sync every day. What can I do to help them? Or is it some individual students you're targeting? So that's the third thing. Then the fourth thing is you never, ever, ever call these exercises. Exercises are jumping jacks. Exercises are running in place. Exercises are go noodle or whatever. School Moves is so much more than that. We are looking at the neurophysiology of learning. We are looking at the different systems, the support system, focus, sensory, auditory, visual. We're looking at those systems and how they're impacting behavior and academics. So unless you really understand what system you're targeting, you don't know what intervention you're doing. And it's an intervention, it is not an exercise. For most teachers, they'll say, I do exercise all, they get out to recess, they have PE, we do go noodle, we're good on exercise. So if you walk into class and say, I've got some more exercises for you, they're going to say, we got the exercise, bucket full, we're good. So be sure that you are giving these activities the deep thought that goes along with my 23 plus years of honing what works in classrooms and honing what movement truly is available that changes that neurophysiology. That's what we're looking at. Jumping jacks doesn't change the neurophysiology. Deep pressure does. And in lesson 1 of Minute Moves, you have the calming routine, which involves deep pressure. So that's your number 4. Your 5th piece of this is you're not going to begin implementing anything unless you have a way to determine if it's effective. There's no point wasting everybody's time. We don't have any time in education to waste it. So if we don't know if what we did is effective, then we need to kind of back the trolley up and say, how are we going to know? So you're going to ask the teachers, how do we know if we implement this that it's been effective? Now, the research I've done says within 6 to 8 weeks, minimum of 6, maximum of 8, you should be seeing change. And if you haven't seen change, and often we see change really quickly, even a lot faster than that, but if you aren't seeing change by that time, then this isn't what the group's needing. You should be measuring and seeing change. How do we measure change? I love PDSA cycles. And if you're not familiar with those, you need to just go Google PDSA. I'll have to think. Okay, so P is plan. You're going to plan what you're going to do. D is you're going to actually do what you plan. S is you're going to study how it's working. And A is you're going to act. And act means, yeah, it worked. It's great. They come in now from recess. It used to take them 20 minutes to calm down. Boom, we're done in 3 minutes. They are back on track. So we're going to put that action into our daily classroom plan. Okay, so PDSA cycles. So until I see that you have a way to measure, again, you're not ready to implement. So now we'll say you have it all in place. You've got all these 5 steps in place. You know the principal's on board. You know where it fits within the RTI or MTSS tiered interventions. You know what you're trying to measure, like what the need is in the classroom. You know how you're going to measure that in the classroom. And I think I left something out, but anyway, you get the idea. So you got that in place. Now you're ready to actually get going with it. And so what you will decide is what is the need and what specific intervention or School Moves routine or School Moves posters would benefit, might be the solution to that problem. For instance, if the teacher says after recess, they just come in really wild, then recess tips you off to something we have called the recess refocusing routine. So then you would say, that's where we're starting. So that's how I go about implementation. It's not just, we've come to the workshop, we love it, we're just going to throw in some posters and some Minute Move activities, and we're just going to toss it all into a classroom that's already super busy and super filled with so many things. Unless a teacher sees a need, they're not going to implement. I just did a couple online workshops, and the last one I did was this Saturday. And that group, they had a need. They had 2 kindergarten classrooms that they said were, and these are seasoned teachers, 27 years of teaching. They know their stuff. And they said, this group just doesn't know how to quiet and be still and understand self-regulation from the inside out at all. So we talked about creating and teaching from the outside in. So they already have specific activities they're going to be doing and starting and implementing, and they're going to be able to measure change. That's what I encourage you to do, is follow these steps before you implement anything. And hopefully by doing that, at the end of your 6 to 8 weeks or trial period, you can say, wow, that really worked. We really can see a difference. So please, if you begin to implement, take some photos and just send them my way. info@schoolmoves.com. And then I can use them for Tuesday tips. I can use them for if there's any questions around it. If you send me a photo and then you have a question around implementing, that can be the next Tuesday tip I do. So we just kind of keep generating that information and keep deepening our understanding. That is it. I don't know how long this took. Hopefully it wasn't too long out of your day. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and that spring just starts blanketing the whole United States with tulips and flowers and sunshine, so that we can start feeling kind of crawling out of our homes and crawling out of our winter slumber. And if you have any other questions, I know you will email me. Thank you so much, and have a terrific day.